Okay, good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Vishal Premlal. I'm the National Director for SAPRA. Good morning to you all, and thank you for joining the session. One of many that we host on a very frequent basis at the moment in the Let's Talk series. In this case, Let's Talk SAF, which is the Sick Accident and Maternity Fund. Just on a lighter note, you would have seen in the or on the screen very good use of the SAPRA logo on a filling station. Please, this is just creative engineering on our side. By no means is it an indication that SAPRA is opening up their own filling stations. That said, moving on, Henry, our chair, has apologized. Unfortunately, he is unavailable to open the meeting, but he will join during the course of the meeting. I will, in the interim, just lead the process. So today it's going to be Let's Talk SAF. The individual that's going to be talking to us, refer to him as Tumi. It's an easier reference point. You'll see when he introduces himself. Tumi is easy to refer to. Tumi is an internal labor specialist within the RMI, and he'll be talking to you, running through his presentation, etc., etc., etc. Just for noting, the presentation will be shared. So you don't need to ask that question in the chat box. We will definitely share the presentation with everyone that's attended. Just some house rules in terms of the process. Do keep your mics off. It helps a lot, during the process to keep it seamless. With regards to questions, we know that sometimes you'd want to ask questions at a specific time in the presentation. Try not to, if you can, record that question maybe in the chat box, and we'll attend to the question. We definitely will attend to all questions. Beyond that, at the end of the presentation, you'll have a chance to raise your hand and then ask questions, directly to the presenter. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Tumi. Tumi will introduce himself and he'll run through the presentation, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you. Over to you, Tumi.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I just want to see, I know I've been having technical issues with my camera. I just want to see if anyone can see me. Doesn't look like it's working again. All right. I'll just continue to introduce myself and put my presentation for everyone to see. In just a second. Can everyone see my presentation? By show of hands. All right, thank you. So thank you, everyone. As Vishal has already introduced me, my name is actually Brezhnev Nsekang, but I'm commonly known as Tumi. I'm the labor manager here at the RMI, and I just want to say good morning to everyone and welcome to today's Let's Talk webinar. We'll be focusing on the motor industry sick accident and maternity pay fund, which is commonly known as SAF, as Vishal has alluded to. So I'm also proud today to be presenting our SAPRA members here today. And I'm sure you've seen an intro video that was sent through about a week ago regarding this webinar. And I've made mention that whether you are an employer or HR practitioner or payroll professional in the retail motor petroleum sector, this session is designated to be practical and probably, I hope, immediately useful to you. So what's going to happen today is over the next 90 minutes, we'll aim to break down exactly what SAF is and who it helps, what are the current contributions in 2026, the full range of the benefits, and most importantly, the step-by-step claims process so that you make sure your business and your employees are getting the full value of this fund. So we're gonna go to our agenda, and so here's our roadmap for today's session, and we'll move things practically and not rush into it, make sure that everyone understands what's going on. So firstly, we'll answer fundamental questions as to what is SAF, what exactly is SAF, and what is it created for? And then secondly, who qualifies for SAF? Because there's often confusion between compulsory and voluntary membership, especially for non-union and our NUMSA colleagues. And then thirdly, we'll look at the updated 2026 employer contributions. And that was from January this year. And I want every employer here to leave knowing exactly what they are paying and why they are paying. And the fourth part would be us focusing on the key benefits. And this is the heart of the matter. The sick pay, the accident pay, the maternity pay, and the important death and funeral benefit as well. And as I've alluded, we'll look at the claim process, a step-by-step guideline as to how you get this done in the new digital portal. And finally, we'll tackle the common pitfalls we see every day and give you a clear best practice tips so you can back and fix any gaps immediately. So as Vishal also mentioned, feel free to type your questions into the chat as we go. We'll address as much as we can at the end. And if there's anything urgent, we will deal with it. And if there's any member specific that is private that you would need assistance with, please feel free to contact us as well, or leave your message on the chat and we will definitely attend to that. So as we were saying, what is SAF? So SAF, practically, it's the motor industry sick accident and maternity pay fund. As I've said, it's commonly known as SAF. So it's a benefit fund actually that is established under the MIPCO main agreement. It's got a core purpose, which is simply but powerful to assist employees in our industry who lose wages due to sickness, it can be an accident at the workplace, or females going on maternity. It also provides, in addition to that.
But they didn't even call us. They didn't even call us to notify us.
Sorry, can we have everyone muted,
Yeah.
please? If you can hear me. So
yeah.
It provides also, in addition.
Jimmy, you're muted.
Thank you. I'm back on. As I was mentioning, in addition to the sick, accident, and maternity, it also provides death and funeral benefits for members and their families. So this is not UIF. It does not replace UIF whatsoever. It is just an industry-specific top-up fund, which is funded entirely by employer contributions through RMI establishment, including all SAPRA members. So a key message here is that I would like to relay is that when your employee is booked off sick or injured at work or goes on maternity leave, so the SAF will be designed to help cover those costs so that financial burden doesn't fall entirely on your business. And so the employee doesn't suffer a total loss of income under such circumstances. And the question as to who qualifies for SAF. We've got, like I've mentioned, there's sometimes a misconstruction regarding voluntary membership or compulsory as to who does it benefit. So with compulsory membership, it's all MISA members that are employed at an RMI registered employer, including SAPRA members. And in that regard, the membership then becomes automatic unless an exemption is granted by MIPCO, and the employer is the one who contributes on behalf of the employees. And then voluntary membership refers to non-union employees at an RMI or SAPRA establishment and NUMSA members at an RMI establishment. Employer can decide, there's a discretion to admit this particular employees and pay the contributions. So what's important to note as well is that it should be an RMI registered employer and who can participate in this regard. The fund is not automatically available to non-RMI members, but can be on a voluntary basis. So I would encourage all the employers to bring their non-union and NUMSA colleagues as well into the fund, as the contribution is modest, but the protection for both the employee and the business is significant, especially around maternity and long sick absences. So with regards to the contributions, like I mentioned, effective from 1st January 2026, here we've got the current weekly contribution rates, and these are paid entirely by the employer. There is no deduction from the employee salary, and the breakdown here would be for males, we are talking 20 Rand 30 cents per week. For females, it's slightly higher than that, and for valid reasons, and it's 28 Rand 12 cents. And when you break it down, you'll notice for sick accident fund for everyone, including male and female, is 16 Rand 60, and there's an additional extra 7 Rand 82 for female employees. This is for maternity, and 3 Rand 70 cents for the death and funeral benefit to all employees, male and female. And there are key benefits that we should be focusing on, and these benefits are your sick leave, sick pay. This pays up to 15 days for everyone. And we've got accident pay, which is up to 40 days at 75%. And we've got maternity pay, which is up to 17 weeks at 30%. And we have the death and funeral, which is 25,000 Rand death benefit plus funeral cover after only 8 weeks of contributions. But we are going to break this down in our next slides and look at each benefit as to what it entails. So with the sick benefit, this one from 1 day, it's per year, which is from January to the 31st of December. 1 day to 10 days, it's at 100% paid of the full ordinary daily remuneration. And from the 11th to the 15th day, it's at 50%, which is half ordinary daily remuneration. And beyond 15 days, obviously in that fund here, it remains unpaid. There won't be any further sick accident fund benefit. It's the employer's discretion, or if there's any leave available under such circumstances, it can be taken. And I've mentioned also the qualification in that 13 weeks consecutive weeks of contributions is required. And it's important that a medical certificate be also submitted in this regard. So now we look at the sick accident, the accident pay and maternity benefits. So I'm going to break it down into two as it is here. With regards to the accident pay, 75% of ordinary daily remuneration, that's what you receive, with a maximum of 40 days per fund year. It covers work-related injuries. It also covers dermatitis contracted in the employment, and also absence cover within a 12 months calendar month, within a 12 months calendar month of the accident. And also when it comes to the maternity, when we look at the right column, you'll see it's 30%. I see a message that's still no sound. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We can.
All right, thank you. So with the maternity pay, you'll see it's 30% of ordinary daily remuneration. This is up to 17 weeks per confinement. And I've mentioned also that this does not replace the UIF. It's a supplementary to the UIF. So it's an addition, which makes it more exciting. And this usually would help with retention, and it will show your staff that during this critical life stages, that you are actually supporting them. And then with the death and funeral benefit, this for me is one of the most meaningful parts of the fund. I mean, you are getting such an addition when it comes to you lose a family member, you lose. Okay, someone say I must please try and adjust my sound. Can everyone hear me before I go on?
Sorry,
Yes, we
if I
can.
may. Yeah, I think it's all good. Perhaps the person that's having difficulty with the sound, check your volume on your side. I think that's the message. But thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you, Vishal. As I've mentioned, this for me is one of the most meaningful parts of the fund. It's life. When you have a family, you lose a breadwinner, you lose a child, and the last thing you need is financial stress under such circumstances on top of the grief you'll be going through. So SAF provides immediate practical support in this regard. We've got a death benefit of 25,000 Rand, which is payable on death of a qualifying SAF member. Also, it comes with a funeral benefit of 10,000 Rand for your member, for you as a member, employee as a member, their spouse, partner, their child, 14 to 18 years, and then those above 14 years, then 14 years would be 7,000 Rand, and also covers a stillbirth for 7,000 Rand, all included in one subscription. And so with the claims process, a step-by-step practical way to follow, you need to register the employees, number one. So there's a SAF form that you need to complete, or you can use the MIPCO portal, and it's compulsory, as I've mentioned, for MISA members as well, and voluntary for others. So you've got 13 weeks, consecutive weeks of contributions before any benefit claim can be made. And as I've mentioned as well, it's important and very vital that registered medical practitioner issues a certificate or injury, if there's an injury, or with regards to pregnancy under such claims. And the claims must be submitted within 6 months of a return to work, and use the prescribed forms or the MIPCO self-service portal. And for MISA members, employer often pays the benefit directly on payday and recovers from the fund via claiming and using the claiming processes. So as we've mentioned also, the fund will reimburse the employer and pays the member directly depending on which process you wish to follow. And I just hope that everyone is using the MIPCO digital portal, and hopefully it's easy for them and practical for them to, and efficient as well when submitting any claims. So why are many employers missing out, and how do they get it right? So you need to ensure that all eligible employees are registered. Also, the voluntary members as well, and non-voluntary members as well. It's important that they are registered. And the pitfalls, some of the pitfalls will be failing to submit a claim within the 6-month window, incomplete forms, or missing medical certificates, or not using the digital portal, which is advisable that everyone does so. And also assuming that non-MISA employees cannot benefit, and probably forgetting also to update the MIPCO returns when staff change, which is very important, that you always keep an eye on that and update your records accordingly. So the best practice was to ensure that all employees are registered promptly via the correct channels, either the MIPCO portal through MISA, and use the MIPCO self-service portal for a faster digital claims. And then also training on SAF as well. Look, employers should, I encourage to always reach out to MISA, to MIPCO, for any technical issues or any information that they may seek in order to understand more of the processes that they need to follow under such circumstances. And ensure that you keep all your medical certificates and claims records organized, and to reconcile contributions monthly against your payroll. As RMI, we do have IR specialists. SAPRA is here for guidance as well. So reach out at any given time should you encounter, any challenges going forward. So there are resources that you can use, as I've mentioned. You can obviously get the official rules of the Sick Accident and Maternity Pay Fund from the MIPCO website, and utilizing the MIPCO self-service portal is very important as well. And you can reach out to MISA, the trade union, as well, with regards to any issues with the MISA members and the claims that are being submitted. And as Adamai, as I've alluded to, we do have IR specialists, and the SAPRA officials and personnel are also here to assist at any given point. So this fund, it exists for your support and for your employees when life happens, and to help protect your business from unexpected costs. So when used correctly, it's a very powerful tool in my view for retention, compliance, and showing your people that you actually care about their well-being. And we're not talking about just being on sick leave. It goes beyond that there with regards to the to the accident fund, to the funeral and death benefit, and that goes a long way. So thank you for joining. This is what I'm presenting today, and as Vishal has mentioned, the recordings and the slides will be shared. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out or use the chat, and we will take it from there. Thank you, Vishal.
Okay, fantastic. And thank you so much for, quite a comprehensive presentation. Like most of these presentations, I guess the devil lies in the detail. And, once people start to unpack that, that's probably where the real challenges sit. That said, the floor is now open for questions. Again, I'm going to remind everyone this is your opportunity to engage directly on a difficult topic. If you feel you need to discuss it independently as well, do record your notes in the chat box, and we'll get back to you, independently. But please feel free to raise your hand and ask questions. I recognize one hand up at the moment. Kwesi, you want to come through?
Yes, Vish. First question is more maybe a statement around the usability of the online portal from Mr. Paul Rue. I don't know if you guys could guide here. Paul says the problem with the online portal is that it requires signatures, not an easy thing to do on a computer.
All right.
Tumi, I'll leave that to you.
Look, I will have to look into it. I love these platforms because remember, as we are sitting here and we don't know what the members are going through, it's quite difficult to even understand any challenges they might be facing. So I have noted that, and it's something that I will raise and see if we can respond also to the members here, if they can also leave maybe a contact or an email where we'll be able to give feedback, or they can contact us directly so that we can follow up. I was not aware of such a glitch or a situation.
Okay, thanks to me. And then Mr. Kolani Mguni, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, I think perhaps I'd appreciate more clarity because there's a bit of a concern I have with regarding to the payment of the claims being the onus of the employer. In an economy that's quite tight and cash flow is really tight, then the employer is almost expected to play like an underwriter role and administer the actual fund, and then also go through the administrative burden of claiming back from MISA, not knowing how long those timelines will take of actually repaying that 25,000, let's say, for a funeral claim. If we could just get more clarity on that, because that's a bit of a concern, hey? Should multiple claims arise, and then now the employer is trying to, get reimbursed on those funds. MISA has their own processes, and now we are subject to processes of MISA.
Right. Vishal, you want to take that?
That's a tricky question. But that said, I recognize that we've got Marwan Davids here from MIPCO, and it's always useful to have senior individuals from these organizations. Marwan, please do join the discussion as well if you feel that you can intervene with some of these questions. Marwan Davids, you're muted.
Doesn't look like he's online anymore, Vishal.
Okay, all right. No, that's fine.
I think he's left the chat. I've got a
Has he
few
left the
more
chat?
for you, Vish. Okay. Next
move on, yeah.
question. I think maybe we can park that one, and I think we'll probably revert back. But the next question is from Deandra van der Westhuizen, and she asked that if we registered on the MIPCO self-service portal, do you also need to register on MISA's website as well?
To me, if you could answer that one.
So I think if you've registered on the portal, that should be, because the two, I think, they might be interlinked in terms of information that is being shared. So if you are registered on the portal, your information should be interlinked.
Super. Thank you. Along the same lines, really, from Mr. Paul Kruger, if your existing employees are registered on MIPCO, must you register them on the self-service portal again?
No, remember right now you need to register your employees with on the MIPCO portal. So once they're registered there, the employees are captured industry-wise and the information is interlinked. They will be able to see who's a NUMSA, MISA member or non-union member at what establishment is the establishment an RMI establishment. Such information would be sufficient on the MIPCO portal.
Thank you so much, Dumi. There's quite a few here. Just want to see if these are slightly different from each other. But I think they're around the claiming around sick claims specifically. So these two questions are sort of the same. One is from Neo Rampocaño and the other is from Marie. So the questions are, how long does it take for a sick claim to get processed? And Marie then sort of makes a statement following up, just saying that she submitted a claim for sick leave for payment, but so far none of it has been paid. So I'm assuming how long does it take for that claim to get processed? And then from there, obviously, what is the process thereof?
All right. So like we mentioned that the employee can claim, submit all the necessary documents, but the employer can pay and then make the claim. Mariki, if you can assist me in terms of the turnaround time from a payment perspective and the processing, I would appreciate that.
To me, I was just thinking about that. I think the member should just email me the details so that I can follow up. Sometimes people say it's very quick, other times there's a backlog. So I can't give you the exact time, but if you guys can please email me, my email address is in the chat, and then I can follow up and give you feedback.
Thank you, Mariki.
Super. To me, is an interesting question, I think. It's from Gloria. Her question was, why can't they pay directly to the employee? I'm assuming this would be the fund.
That is possible. They can do that. There's a form, obviously, that needs to be completed and a submission of the medical certificate. So as long as they're eligible and it's within the consecutive weeks that are required in order for one to make a claim, it's doable.
Thank you. And then it's the last one in the chat for now. And then Kolani, I see your hand is up again. We'll take your question right afterwards. So Marley van Eden says, so you can claim UIF and maternity. I'm assuming as both or separate. Molly, I don't know if maybe you want to just guide us there. Is it as separate benefits or as one? Sure if she's still in the chat, but her question was so you can claim UIF and maternity.
Yes, you can. I've mentioned as well that this is not a replacement for UIF. So it's beneficial for the employee. The employee will receive the UIF benefits, and this is a supplementary to that. So it's an additional benefit to what they would receive if they were not on sick accident fund.
100%. Thanks, Tumi. Xolani, please, you may proceed.
Yes. Oh, thank you. No, so I just wanted confirmation of my question because I think Gloria asked it inversely. My question was, is the onus on the employer to pay out the claim? And then we sort of skirted around that question, but then you directly answered Gloria's question of they can pay the employer directly instead of the onus being on the employer to pay out the claim. I just wanted confirmation on that.
That's correct. Maybe I didn't get misconstrued your question. So generally, you would have employers paying the employees and then claiming, but there's nothing barring you from the employee actually from the form being completed and the submissions being made timeously as required.
Okay, so for example, a funeral claim, an employee, God forbid, passes away and has 2, 3, 4 children, that would be 40, 50,000 Rand. That 50,000 Rand can be paid from the fund directly and not by the employer.
No. The funds, the death and funeral benefit is not paid by the employer. It's paid, the fund will pay that after a claim is submitted.
Okay, so which part is the employer can pay and then claim from MISA?
The sick leave.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
I hope that clarifies your question, Xolani.
I'm sorted. Thank you.
100%. Thank you so much. So on my side, I have no other questions. I think, look, Glynis asked essentially what Xolani was asking, whether the payout for claims is on the employer. I'm assuming, again, the previous answer has sort of clarified that. Gloria, I see your hand is up, ma'am.
Yes. I just wanted to find out on maternity leave, do they have to declare that they're receiving money from you guys or not?
You mean with the UIF?
Yes.
Yeah, this is just an additional benefit. The UIF, I don't think they're eligible for that. They're entitled to that. So anything that is beneficial to the employees won't be stopped by government or benefits that are there and in the likes of the UIF being in place for such periods when one goes on maternity leave. So if it's declared, it can be declared, but it has no impact as to the benefit that the fund offers.
Okay.
Thank you to me, Gloria. I hope that answers your question. And just one last one from Sumay van der Walt. She asked, just to confirm, companies that are not RMI affiliated do not have to register MISA members. I'm not sure if maybe Sumay, you just want to clarify that question. Also not understanding it slightly. Just want to make sure we answer the right question.
So if I may there, but the employer can come in, jump in at any time. So this is for all RMI registered employers, including SAPRA members. So if you have MISA members employed and you are an RMI member, a registered employer, then it becomes compulsory. The only time it becomes voluntarily is if you are an RMI establishment and you don't have MISA members, and then it becomes voluntarily and such, or you've got NUMSA members or non-union employees, then it can be voluntarily. But the gist is that your company, it must be an RMI registered employer for it to generate or kick in the membership qualifications.
Super. Thanks, Tumi. I see Sumay is happy with our answer. Then we have another from Lazelle Smith. Yeah, this one is not complicated. What happens when all the sick leave is exhausted with the SAF fund? Does it automatically go back to the employer again? I have a lot of sick leave employees.
No, remember, it's the same thing if you are not on SAF and you are 36, you qualify for 36 sick leave days. If you exhaust that, even in the first year or the second year, your employee has taken 36 days, there's no sick leave for that person after that has been exhausted. And they can take that irrespective of whether it's 1 year or 2 year or in the third year. So with this benefit is that it's on a yearly basis that you will have days, about 15 days per year. Unlike you find employees who are often sick that within a year and a half, they have exhausted their sick leave and they still have another year and a half to work without any sick leave. That is dangerous. So here is 15 days per year. If you have exhausted that, then it doesn't fall back to the MEPCO. You don't have for that period, and any other leave days can come in, like your annual leave if it's a serious condition. Remember, if you are hospitalized and you have exhausted your sick leave and you are hospitalized for more than 15 days without any sick leave, then there's a UIF benefit for that. As long as you can prove that the employee has exhausted his sick leave and or annual leave as well to cover for any periods, and they are hospitalized, here is proof it's been more than 15 days. So they will be covered by the UIF separately.
Thank you, Tumi. I think from my side, from the chat, I see no further questions. I think one just popped in now. Lazelle, I understand you'd like to unmute. Is there something you'd like to add?
Are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, the reason I asked this question is because I have one or two staff members that has like I want to say a recurring sick leave epidemic. I don't know how to put it. They are not chronically ill. They don't have a chronic illness that I'm aware of, but they keep giving me sick notes like on a Monday or on a Friday when it's time for, weekend off or something like that. So they are part of the sick and accident fund. And now I have this specific employee that he has exhausted every sick leave there is to exhaust, basically. And I just keep getting sick leave letters from him. And it's going to go now. His annual leave has also been now activated because of the chronic sickness or chronic sick notes. And the annual leave is also going to be exhausted soon. So I'm sitting in a situation that is a little bit difficult.
All right. So I think what you are going through, and without me preempting, what's going on, you might be sitting in a situation whereby sick leave is being abused. And this might boil down to either a misconduct issue, if it can be proven that there's a pattern that every payday or every day before or after payday or every Monday, there's a sick note that's coming in. There might be a pattern that you need to look into, and that can boil down to a possible misconduct or an incapacity route should follow here in terms of the employees employed to give a service and to be there all the time. And if they cannot, due to some form of sickness, you need to follow the incapacity route, and it can lead to a dismissal, unfortunately. So with that, I will urge you to please contact us directly. Our IR specialist will gladly look into your situation and try and curb the issue. You need to have consultations with the employees. For them, bring the data, show them that from last year till now, how many sick leave have they used and when are they using the sick leaves, and to show if there's a pattern. And you need to warn the employees to say, listen, any future abuse, you're not accusing them that they're faking sick leave, but any future abuse, there's processes that can lead to action being taken against them. So I would encourage you, and please reach out to us. Let us assign one of our IR specialists to assist you in that regard. With regards to the sick notes you are getting, it's a benefit in that you are sick and you get paid for the day as long as you can show that you are not fit to work on that ordinary day. However, any abuse should be looked into. If you exhaust your leave days, even if you are not on the SAF and you had 36 days leave, and if you exhaust it within a year or two, you have exhausted. There's nothing, you can't give more unless you are a gracious employer and you use your discretion to give them money on those days, then you may. However, I think in your situation, there might be a nexus between misconduct and incapacity, which should be looked into.
Yes, I'm busy with the pattern. It's just one of the questions that I had because if you have a lot of employees and everyone is sick, it gets much. The other thing I would like to know is there a benefit for anybody that we have to send for someone that has a alcohol problem, that's a alcohol abuse? Is there any from the sick and accident fund, is there any like a benefit if we send him to rehab?
Okay, I think we'll have to verify that, but most employers would have like those employee wellness programs like iCares and such. So normally you would have an employee comes in drunk, and obviously you have to deal with the situation. Either your disciplinary code will have to guide to say you need to give counseling or you need to straight give a warning. But while you're doing that, remember you do ask questions. Do they need help? Do they have a problem? You know,
we
and
have
when
outside counsel,
you have,
and we normally go the route of, we do normally go a disciplinary hearing, and then we ask if the person can identify if he has a problem, and if there's anything at home maybe that's bothering them or making them do the things that they are doing. And from there, we go either the route of you want help or you do not want help. So that's normally, if you want help, we will arrange with a place nearby that we can send them for rehab. If they refuse help, then obviously the disciplinary hearing will go on.
Correct. So the fund doesn't have a wellness benefit of some sort. It only covers where a registered medical sick note comes and say this person was not fit to work on this ordinary day. In terms of in such situations, I would advise that you focus on the wellness, and if the employee still carries on with the mishap, then unfortunately it might lead to their dismissal.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I was just wondering because rehab is it's an expensive little thing to go through. It depends on which clinic you go to, but yeah, I just wanted to know about that. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you, Tumi. Thank you. That was a very, very big answer. I hope, Lizelle, you've gotten the answers you need and you can take the process forward. Should you require any assistance, again, please get in touch with either Tumi or Mariki. Their details are at the top of the chat. I have another question, Tumi. This is from the guys at Highway Motors, and it's more clarity seeking. Is the 15 days in the calendar year and not 12 months from when you are registered? I'm not sure if maybe they were asking for clarity or they just maybe correcting. I'm assuming this 15 days would be for the sick leave.
Yeah, so I will have to, the technical issues, I will definitely respond to all the questions, and we will reach out also to the fund administrators. However, So the fund year, so when you look at the wording in terms of the rules, it speaks about a fund year one from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. And there's the 15 days, and it breaks it down from 1 to 10 days, it's 100%. From 11 to 15, it's 50%. But it's a good question that's being asked. And if I can, by the end of the week, tomorrow, if I may, any question that is here that I have not answered clearly, I will get information. Kwezi, I'm not sure if we can obtain
course, yeah.
email
I'm
addresses
gathering
that
them.
we can just respond directly to the people who ask the relevant question, or we can share with everyone who had joined in so that it might help others as well, and not just the individual who ask the specific question. I think it's a good question as well.
Yeah, to me, if I may suggest, I think, for all the attendees, what we'll do is all of these questions that have a technical nature to it, or the difficult questions that came through in the chat box, we'll put together a little frequently asked questions type of Q&A, and we'll send that back through to everyone. That will help, if not completely answered, at least point you in the right direction in terms of how to deal with some of these technical ones. But yeah, Kwezi, over to you. Let's keep the questions coming.
Yes, sir. So the next one is from Mr. Paul Kruger. I'll start in order of importance, because I think this is a very important question. This comes from Mariki. The Department of Labor is now inspecting and requiring employees who have employees regularly screened or examined by a doctor to determine whether their health condition has changed since they started working for the employer. I'd like to know whether the fund also covers this as a sick day. I'm assuming these are the physicals that they would do for OHS purposes.
Yeah, obviously, whoever they see would be a registered practitioner. What the law says is that you must be seen by a registered medical practitioner. So on that day, depending if you went there the whole day or you went there and they gave you a half day, but it needs to be a note from a medical practitioner. And if that is received, any claims can be made where you were not at work on a day that you should have been at work due to any medical condition.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope that question is now answered. And then Mr. Paul Creer had a question as well. He'd just like to clarify. And again, it goes back to the claiming process around sick leave. I just want to clarify, please. So this whole process basically means that when an employee has been booked off sick, we as their employer pay them for those days, and then we can submit a claim for those days to SAF to be repaid directly to us.
Correct. That's correct. That's generally what most employers would do.
That's how it works. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tumi. And then one from Mr. Francois, from Francois van der Pfeiffer. Please, could you clarify how the sick leave benefit is intended to be used? Is it intended to be used only once the regular paid sick leave benefit, so the one that is offered in your general employment, is exhausted, or is it used concurrently? What would the setup be there?
Can you repeat that again?
So Paul asked, please could you clarify how the sick leave benefit is intended to be used? Is it intended to be used only once the regular paid sick leave is exhausted, so the sick leave that you're offered under the BCEA, or is it used concurrently, or is it used when one runs out and then the other one steps in?
Oh no, the sick leave, the sick pay, remember, you are contributing as an employer. So if you're going to use it concurrently, or use the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, you'd be robbing yourself, because now it'll be double. You'll be paying from your pocket sick leave, and then forgetting that you're actually contributing towards this sick pay fund. So once you are a SAF member, that's where you use your sick leave. That's where all the payments are going through. You don't pay anything from your pocket. If you do pay anything from your pocket, you claim it from SAF, because you are already contributing through the monthly returns.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Francois. And then the questions are getting quite technical. This is from Ashley Motors. They're also asking a clarity question. Please, can you clarify the death benefit, whether it covers like a funeral policy where if a member of a family passes on, the member can claim, or is it strictly for the family to claim on the death of a member? So, for instance, I work for you, Dumi. A family member of mine passes on. Can they claim, or is it strictly that if I, the employee, pass on, my family claims for me? If I'm understanding the question correctly, Ashley.
So this is a benefit for the employee and his immediate family. So family does not have to work for the RMI establishment or the employer. So it's a death benefit for the member who would receive 25,000 Rand, which will be payable on his death, as long as he's a SAF member and qualifying SAF member. And then there's a funeral benefit for the member, which is 10,000 Rand on the death of the member. And we have a funeral benefit for the member's spouse or partner on death of the spouse or the registered partner, and which is at 10,000 Rand. Then we have a funeral benefit for 14 to 18 years, which is 10,000 Rand, or full-time student over 18 years. 10,000 Rand is payable for your child. And then also for children less than below 14 years, a child less than 14 years, per child at up to 7,000 Rand. And also if there's still stillbirth as well, after 20 weeks, what they call it, those words. Sorry about that. It's 7,000 Rand as well. So
Thank you,
the partner or the spouse or the child does not have to be an employee of the employer, as long as the member is eligible and was qualifying as a SAF member.
Thank you so much, Dumi. I think that answers the question. And I think you've clarified the immediate family statement as well. So it's member, spouse, and immediate children. If I'm correct, yes?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. Then we have a couple more. And again, I think, look, I'm glad that we're actually going a bit down the rabbit hole here, because I think as we go further, people will have more pointed questions around this. So the next question is from Luyanda, and it goes back to Lazal's issue around the issue of alcohol. If the employee is having a problem with alcohol, is it the company's responsibility to take the employee to concealing and have the employee admit his or her problem? So I'm assuming Luyanda meant conciliation or something along those lines, where that option maybe might be
counseling.
The counseling, sorry. Conciliation, counseling, yes, my bad.
All right. So in this regard, remember with the alcohol problem, it can be seen as incapacity. And it all depends. I mean, at a filling station, imagine you have an employee who comes and they're under the influence. We're not talking about safety for them. We're talking about safety for all the employees and your customers there. It's really risky to have someone come in at your establishment and they are under the influence. So the thing is, with our laws, there's progressive discipline that needs to be applied all the time. If you could to say, listen, this is putting everyone in danger, I'm going to fire you today, and I'm just going to get rid of you, take you to a disciplinary hearing, and just dismiss you. Unfortunately, that's a risk, because when they challenge the substantive and the procedural fairness, it might not be in your favor as an employer. So it's important to always, depending on your disciplinary code as well, you can take one for counseling. You can have a counseling session. Say, listen, you came in, we noted, and you've considered that you were under the influence, or even if maybe it wasn't that high, but we could smell you were reeking of alcohol, whatever the case may be, because not all employers, especially at filling stations, I believe, would make you test every morning or blow to see your alcohol levels. So, but with that, it's very important to always ask when you are applying that progressive discipline. Remember, with progressive discipline, you're trying to change errant behavior. Some people are just pure misconduct. You know, you're going to work on a Monday and you're drinking till 2 a.m. on a Sunday, on a Monday morning. You know, that is just irresponsible. But there's situations whereby we don't know what people are going through, and this is an opportunity for us to try and help. So imagine, first instance, you do a counseling session. Listen, you came into work, this is not acceptable and it should not happen again. Is there anything that we can do? Do you have a problem with alcohol? And everything is recorded and you make them sign. If it happens the second time, this for me is a strict thing to deal with, because you can't take it lightly, especially the environment that you're working in and the damage that might happen to him, the employee, or her, or or his fellow employees as well, colleagues. So when you then take one to a disciplinary hearing after you have cancelled them or even issued a written warning after the cancelling, then you can simply show that, look, we've tried to help you. You said you need help. We introduced you to an employee wellness program and you went there. Remember, you won't get feedback as to what happened. But the fact that you as an employer took that step, should you dismiss the employee at some stage and the employee goes and refers an unfair dismissal dispute, it's easy for you to come with your records to say, we have tried to accommodate this employee who was going through personal situations at home that led him to now indulge in alcohol to that extent. And we have offered all the help. We have issued warnings, which you should, irrespective of what reasons or excuses you're getting from the employees. You are issuing a warning not to punish, it's not punitive, but to change the errant behavior. And if it leads to a dismissal after a final written has been issued, with all that documentation to prove that you did, as an employer, try and accommodate reasonably the employee for him to change and to better his life, and they failed. So I always encourage employers to apply progressive discipline, unless if he came in under the influence, no one picked it up, and put wrong fuel, and a vehicle ended up getting involved in an accident and it was fatal, or it was gross in nature in that the repairs of the vehicle cost over 50,000 rand. Those can be gross in nature, and if it's gross in nature, it can lead to dismissal at first instance. So it's important that take that responsibility to always question, is there anything we can do to help, irrespective of the misconduct that's being committed or incapacity that's taking place, and apply progressive discipline. Unless if it's gross in nature, then unfortunately it can lead to dismissal at first instance.
No, thank you, Dumi. Much appreciated. There are some questions here that are a bit of a duplication, so I'm just going to put the two together. In the meantime, McLeod, if you can maybe just add to your question here around this the payout. If you can just maybe just state for which benefit specifically. But for this question specifically is from the guys at Norcam Motors as well as MJ Fifield. The question is exactly the same, really. Must an employee have to be a member of what? So the one is, must the employee have to be a member of a union in order to have these benefits? And then MJ asks the converse of that: how does the leave claim work if the business is not part of the RMI, but they have members who are MISA members?
All right, thank you for that. So if you are a non-union employee, or you have non-union employees, or you have NUMSA members at your RMI establishment, everything starts with the employer being an RMI registered employer. You being a SAPRA member. So it starts there. The benefits, it will start there. And then before, it only covered for MISA members. So if you were a MISA member at an RMI establishment employer, then you would have all these benefits. But however, it has now included a voluntary membership, meaning that even if you're a non-union employee, as long as you are within the ambit of that RMI or SAPRA establishment, you do qualify. Even if you are a NUMSA member, it has been open to NUMSA as well as a union to say, as long as it's an RMI establishment and the employees are employed there, everyone gets covered. I hope that helps.
Yeah, to me, I think that pretty much answers that one. And then I'm just going to go back to McLeod's question. Good day. Does the payout go directly to the family or the employer? Obviously, speaking specifically about the death benefit.
That will go to the member. The member would be the employee or the members, the family members and such. So it's a claim. Remember the form. In the form you would have completed who are the beneficiaries to the fund. The main member, it would be the employee who's funded by SAF.
Wat is hierdie nou?
Who's-
Dit kan round wees, nee?
Sorry, guys.
Wat is
Can we
syne?
please just
20,
mute our
nee.
microphones?
It's 20 by
So it would
Sorry,
be
mute our
the
microphones.
employee
By
who's
two.
fund.
sien hy is opgeroep. 20 by 2.
Julius Figard. Just want to mute him.
I've
There we go.
muted.
You can please continue.
All right. Now I was saying that it would be paid to the member, the main member, if obviously the main member passes away, and you would have noted who are the beneficiaries, and those beneficiaries would have to complete the necessary forms and obviously attach the necessary banking details, and it would be paid to them respectively.
Thank you so much, Tumi. And I think just to clarify for DeAndre here, we have discussed this, but I think in how she's framing this question, I think it's important for everyone to understand. DeAndre is just asking around, again, sick leave. So an employee has 36 days over a 3-year period. Does this now mean with the SAF that they would now have 45 days?
45 days. Okay, let me apply my mind there. Because they get 15 days, 15 days, right, per year. So it's every fund year, it's 15 days. So, okay, I get what you're saying. I will have to get back before I give
We'll
that
have to
wrong answer.
clarify.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll clarify that. It's a
100%.
good question. Thank you for that as well.
Super. Thank you very, very much, Deandra. We'll definitely sort that out. And then, Deandra, I think myself and Mariki will just get in touch with you with regards to the employee wellness program in Gauteng. Yeah, is there something to me that you, off the top of your
Regarding-
head, know of? Employee wellness programs specifically.
Oh, no, that we can share. I know ICAS. I'm not sure if they're still
Yeah.
there, but in most of the
Yeah, no,
employers
ICAS
that
is
I've
still
worked
around.
with,
Yeah.
I know ICAS, and I think they're good. I've never had any issues with them, and employees would always be satisfied with their services. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
I think
there are quite a few. Yes.
ICAS, yeah, ICAS, ICAS.
Yeah, ICAS. Yeah. Yeah, there's them, there's Kaelo Health, there's quite a few.
Correct.
Yeah, so I think they just need to just double check on their side, because then also some of the medical schemes also offer those
Yes.
employee wellness programs as well. So I think they must just double check.
Yeah, what we'll do as we respond to the questions that still need more clarity, we will just add as much as employee
Of course.
wellness programs that are there in the region, and I'll get that information.
Super, thank you. I think from my side, the thread has slowed down considerably. I have no further questions in the chat currently. Do we have any takers, hands, questions?
Vishal, from my side, I just want to remark that this for me is beneficial because it's a fund that it's an RMI for RMI registered employers. And it's important for us to know if there are any challenges or uncertainties that our members are going through or experiencing. So such platforms, it's good for us to know, because we might be sitting, we don't oversee in there checking every claim that's coming in and making sure that the members or the employers are happy with the process and the claims process. We just know that this is the information that should be out there and it should be working smoothly. So I'm very appreciative of all the questions that came in, all the technical questions, and that we will get to it so that we know as well that there's issues we need to clear out and improve the efficiency going forward. But it's really appreciative. All the questions, there was no small or big questions. It's all massive questions that we need to get the insight and make sure that we share that insight as well for efficiencies. Thank you so much, Vishal.
No, fantastic. To me, I know, yes, and I recognize the complexity of the nature, the technical aspect of some of these questions. And, to a large extent, I recognize Tumi's parting words. Be assured from our side that all of those questions that you've asked will be answered. And thank you for raising it. Remember, these platforms do create the opportunity for us to raise sometimes uncertainties that we're not sure of. And through this engagement process, this is exactly feedback from the ground, and this is what works for us. So thank you for the difficult questions. We definitely will be responding to all of those questions in a simplified format, frequently asked questions, together with the presentation, together with the with the recording of the actual event. So please look out for that. And should you have any further questions, please as well do send those to us. The contact details are in the chat box. I think everyone is aware. We've also got the WhatsApp groups. Do send us those queries, and we'll definitely attend to those questions. We understand that it is, not always easy to understand the entire picture. I know some of the questions relating to, how can this be used as an incentive to actually keep your staff there, and there are ways and means of doing that. So I think going forward, we'll definitely send more information and possibly follow-up sessions, depending on the complexity of some of the topics that we've extracted from the outcomes on our side. So thank you very much to everyone for attending. We appreciate that even after an hour and a bit, that there's still 83, individuals in the meeting. Like I said, this is not a closed session. You do have questions, do raise those with us, do send us WhatsApps, do send us emails, and we'll definitely attend to it. Once again, to you, thank you for presenting to the team, Kwezi for fielding the questions, and to all our members that participated, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.